Hey everybody, and welcome back to Xi4Podcast. I'm Nico, and you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at NicoAction. That's NicoAction. We're returning to Heroes Reborn for issues 3 through 5, plus Magneto and Mutant Force. These 4 issues were incredible, not just because of the beautiful writing by Jason Aaron and Steve Orlando, but the multitude of artists who came on and represented some of the most important characters in the Marvel Universe in these sort of slice moments compared to these bigger-than-life characters from the Squadron Supreme who have all sort of gone off the deep end. It's been an incredible opportunity to get to look at what the universe might be if different heroes had been in charge. Myself, Rod, Nathan, and Jonah have all enjoyed this series so much, and in this second installment, we take a look at what it means to be a hero in a new age. I might be repping Robbie Reyes today, but unfortunately there's just not enough Robbie in this, and that's maybe one of the things that we notice. As much as we love this series, spinning out of the pages of Jason Aaron's Avengers, it maybe lacks a few of those Avengers we love so much. But there has been a calling for the Avengers to come together in secret thanks to the amazingness that is Blade. So we hope you guys enjoy this segment just as much as we enjoyed making it. And if you like the segment, maybe like, subscribe, and leave a review so other people know how great you think it is. Alright guys, until next time, check out this segment and we'll catch you. Hey everybody, welcome back to Xi4Podcast. I'm Nico, and you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at NicoAction. That's NicoAction.
It's Nathan. You can find me online at Dazzler AOA at Twitter and Instagram. Dazzler AOA.
Hi, and it's Rod. You can find me at Rod, on Twitter and Instagram. That's Rod,
And I'm Jonah, and you can follow me over on Twitter and Instagram at PeakJonah. That's P-E-A-K, and we hope you survive this experience, just like all the Supreme Squadron members when they were faced with a threat, and they just immediately defeated them, very, very easily, might I add.
So I want to remind everybody that last time we were here, Jonah kept calling them the Supremes, and then wanted credit for at least remembering that, the Supremes are people, and I agree. Huge credit. Now, he couldn't have known at the time that he was making a joke that would ring so true, because I don't know there has been a diva like Diana Ross until Hyperion. So, of course, we're here to discuss Heroes Reborn 3 through 5 and Magneto and Mutant Force. Guys, how much have you been enjoying it? I need to know right away.
So much! so very much. Oh my god.
Now, Rod, has this been hitting your Heroes Reborn A spot for you?
Ooh, O spot.
Yes, I mean, I didn't read the first Heroes Reborn. Y'all told me not to. So, but this definitely has. I really enjoy it. I'm really glad we get to see more of the Squadron Supreme. Maybe we forget the name because of the whole Jonah thing. My brain just died. So.
Hyperion and the Supremes.
Right. I do love what they're doing with each issue, though. Like the third issue is a speed guide. It's like Flash. And then you get like,
Dr. Spectrum.
Who is he supposed to be like in the DC universe?
Green Lantern.
He's supposed to be like Green Lantern and mixed with Martian Manhunter, I guess?
Well, because he's got all like the color powers. So he's kind of like Green Lantern. I mean,
like
so.
All the corps.
Yeah.
Okay.
All of them. Just like all of them.
That makes sense. I didn't think about that. And then we got like the Batman character in the fifth one. I really like that one. And some of the other issues that feature him that we're not talking about today. But it had a lot of blackness in it. And I was like, it made me so happy.
There is such delicious blackness I can't wait to get to, and it was issue 5 did things to me. But speaking of things that do things to me, Jonah, this is your first sort of like AU crossover kind of thing, right? Like most of the time when I'm like, read this, right? Yeah, this is his AU Cherry and his Squadron Supreme Cherry. This is Cherry's Jubilee for you.
Wow.
Now, how do you feel about your Cherry's JoJo Bilee? Yes.
So let's refrain from talking about my cherries.
Okay.
No questions at this time, please and thank you. AUs can be very interesting in that they can oftentimes, because they basically are somebody's fan fiction, right? It's always a case scenario of what if X or Y did not happen, but Z happened instead. In this universe, 616A, what world are we in? 107A?
We've got some numbers.
I believe it's 107A, because if my research is correct, it should be adjacent, because if all the other Squadron Supreme members are from 107, whatever, doesn't exactly matter. So it's kind of like reading someone's fan fiction. And fan fiction is a very beautiful, interesting, crazy beast in and of itself. I have been really enjoying this very campy adventure. I like that this is very much a hyperbolic representation of what would the US look like if nobody really stopped them from being imperialistic or as imperialistic as we are. And it's a really interesting take because it's so bizarre to see these characters be so hyper American and like by the fear of God, and by God I mean Mephisto.
Mephisto.
Yeah, of
Mephisto.
course.
Mephisto.
Mephisto.
Tell us more.
Mephisto would do great at Folsom.
I bought this pair of mesh shorts that I thought was going to be great for Pride. Let me just tell you, it was mesher than I thought.
Ooh.
Meshier than you thought. But everything has been really interesting because I do enjoy looking at that AU version of what would happen, and that's something I really enjoy that Marvel does do, is that they love taking a look at different universes. And you have like the Ultimate Universe, you have that one universe where everybody's a bug, you have that one universe where everybody's a monster that I just learned about because there's a Spider Monster.
Mhm.
And there's the eighth universe.
Oh yeah, the Marvel
Oh, yeah,
Apes are
there
one of my
is.
favorite universes.
Yeah,
I
it's
have
really
a
fun.
weird affection for Marvel Apes. I don't know. And the cover variants, I'm super into those.
So it's oftentimes a good old adventure, and this is a much more serious one. I am fascinated to know why our Blade made his way into that universe.
Mhm.
I find that really interesting, and yeah.
But
Well,
is it like a 616 adjacent, like Age of Apocalypse kind of thing, where it was kind of 616, but then it got I don't know. They got erased. Wibbly wobbly timey wimey.
Well, so I had thought that I was going to get to explain the mesh thing a lot sooner. So one of the things that I do think is really central to this is actually the costumes for the heroes are sort of less sexual, and there is a really strong sense of not just Americanized identity, but it's almost like Rob Liefeld by way of Leave It to Beaver. It's sort of this extreme exaggeration of Americana, but it's sort of consumed in this idea of core values, right? And so obviously we're here to talk about Heroes Reborn 3 through 5 by the incredible Jason Aaron with art by Ed McGuinness, who is always one of my favorite. The dude draws such a hot Hulk. Federico Vincenti. We had James Stocco on an incredible issue. R.M. Guerra did some incredible work. And we're going to be talking about Magneto and Mutant Force, which is by the incredible, the so hot, and the super gay Steve Orlando. Pride Month, everybody gay it up. And it was just one of the most, it was super satisfying because we've been making a lot of comments about how much more we would like Steve Orlando on X stuff. So this felt like a pretty good stepping stone. But I do want to start with that. We had talked a lot about the ideas of American idealism, and sort of, we even talked about how, Hank Pym was a good Christian man until he became Ultron. And, that's now, how do you guys feel about, because like I'll be honest, one of the things I love is like when I do my Cap cosplays, I sex it up a little bit, and Thor is naturally sexy, and like Carol is inherently sexual in her bold strength, and She-Hulk very frequently wears very little. I feel like Dr. Spectrum covered full body. I felt like Blur was not an irresponsible airhead like a lot of speedsters. He was clearly suffering from ADHD. I feel like this interpretation of the Squadron purposely desexualizes things in a really interesting way that, Folsom Mephisto is feeling full of sadness right now. How do you guys feel about this sort of reimagining of the Avengers with these sort of core American values? It's very Million Moms March.
It is very millions. Oh, Jesus Christ! It is
Too many of them.
Yeah, it's too many moms.
All 5 of them.
There's not even
No
a
moms,
million
no.
in that group. As far
It's
as
like 5.
there's maybe 6. Okay, but all right.
Right, you're adding to the membership? Come on.
I know. I mean, there are a lot of crazy people, so let's go. But I didn't even think about that until you said it, Nico, that they are really covered and that is really less sexualized throughout this whole event so far. And that, I feel like that really adds to the conservativeness of this book, or like what it's portraying as, and America's sexuality, America's afraid of sexuality. America is afraid of sex. You can see all the other countries they're like, oh, well, we do this way. We have more nudist speech. We have this and that. And America's like, no, sex is bad.
No penis.
Body parts are bad. You must be covered from head to toe. Even in the bedroom, you have to just show your ankle.
Lights
Wow.
Lights off, ankle socks on.
Right?
That's very frat guy. That's very, very specific target, Axe body spray, drinking LaCroix, kind of specific.
Salmon shorts.
Ew, LaCroix, gross. Ugh.
This got scary. But yeah, no, I really agree with you, Rod. There is something that is like repressed about it. You know what I mean? Now, I was going to say, Jonah, how do you feel about it? Because, like, I know one of the things you come for is himbos and smart ladies and skimpy shit. So, like,
Listen, I I like what I like, and I will never apologize for it. I want to just, echo something that you said, Rod, that in the American culture is very sex repressed. But I was having this conversation with a friend that everybody is obsessed with sex, but we can't talk about it. How often when we were young, or how old is the adage "sex sells," and how you make marketing ads for whatever it is more sexual in nature because that's how you get people to do it. I mean, one thing I think about is cigarette companies having people in bed smoking while they're naked. It's very sexy. It's very, very intimate to do that with
I
someone
love
that you
ash
love.
burns on my penis.
Some people are into that.
We don't shame kinks here.
We
Yeah,
don't.
I mean, come on.
We don't kink shame, but that is a weird line of advertising.
It is.
Yes, if a
I don't
cigarette.
remember that specific tagline though.
So seeing this very repressed society, one of the characters who shows the most skin yet is still extremely covered up is Power Princess. She's supposed to be this Wonder Woman who, by the way, if you do not know this, Wonder Woman was made in mind as a dominatrix. Lasso of Truth being tied up, you can look into that to discover that for yourself. That whole beautiful can of worms. But Power Princess is she's very covered up, and she has some skin revealing, but it's not in a way that you look at her and you don't. It's not an Emma Frost costume. It's not Jean Grey's thighs being freed. So it's really this hyper conservative America that's so in love with itself and so flagellatory. Flagellation?
Self-flagellating?
Self-flagellating. They suck themselves off a lot.
I really like self-flagellatory. Like, that is my new favorite phrase. I think we can agree that Captain America can sometimes be self-flagellatory.
There's a joke there, but I won't say. But I really like seeing those little bit of breakthroughs of the characters that we may or may not be able to trust, and I look at Blur for someone who's questioning everything that's going on because it doesn't feel right to him. Then you look at Dr. Spectrum and you go, he's completely content with everything that's going on, because why wouldn't you be? He literally thinks he's an agent of God. So it's this unbridled, unhinged idea that they can do whatever they want because they don't have to answer to the higher power. They are the higher power. Is really fascinating when you look at superheroes and superhero culture in general.
Well, and speaking of that, Nathan, your favorite characters are a study in dichotomy. Whether it's Karma, who represents sort of a need to always repress to toe the family line, or it's Dazzler, who literally chooses to shine outside of her family's control. Your favorite characters really are a study in dichotomy, and they both came out around the same time in the late 70s and have transformed repeatedly over the years. How do you feel about taking these ideas, these characters that you know and love, and seeing them sort of stripped bare and remade with those notions in mind?
It's what really struck that whole point home was the Dr. Spectrum issue for me. When he's fighting in space and he wants to make space like the American way, like he wants to make space like safe for America, and just seeing Rocket and Groot have to deal, yeah, right. and when they were like, oh, I think that's a Wakandan craft, he's like, what the fuck, Wakanda? Like, what?
That was amazing.
Oh,
So
Space
beautiful.
Wakanda!
I was like,
I told you it was coming.
You were right. I mean,
Okay.
Coates would be so proud. I mean,
Right.
it's even reverberating through alternate realities.
right. But I think even when you look at the Squadron itself, and I know it was a very unfortunate name, but when they changed the name of the Wizard to the Blur, like it sort of took out some of the extra campy, like sexy innuendo that was in there before. And I know that was before this arc. I
It was
forget which
the
one it was. Yeah.
it was the JMS run.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
okay. So the JMS run is the opposite of everything this is. And I love the JMS run. I need to defend it for a minute because I have a problem and I defend J. Michael Straczynski too much. And that's okay because he did good Thor. But his Squadron Supreme Power was a horrifying nightmare of what the Squadron could be. It was if every member of the Squadron was really into this. And it was really dark and it gave us ultimate power, and that eventually became part of the Ultimate Universe. And those are the characters that came over to 616 from the Ultimate Universe. Those Squadron members are from JMS's relaunch. So you're really, really right that we do have to look at the previous changes as well. I had completely forgotten that Blur was Wizard back in the Grunwald days.
Yeah. Which, I mean, great, crazy, campy name, right? Wizard, you're like, does he go around taking whiz on everything? But like, he's just a blur now. Like, oh, he's a blur.
I didn't
But
think of whiz as in wizard either. I don't know where my head is at. I'm too pure apparently. I was like, what's wrong with wizard? Why is it naughty?
maybe I'm revealing a little too much about myself with that.
Well, speaking of revealing, I want to take a couple of minutes to just say how happy I am with especially what you pointed out, Rod, the format of this series. That one of the things that this book seeks to do is to tell a very small story of Blade incrementally pulling together Cap and Jonah. I am so happy you finally got to read my precious Maya. It must have been so nice to finally get to read Echo after me talking about her since the day we met. And, so happy. But, this whole kind of telling the microcosmic of what happened and then still giving us these one shots that took place in the past, Magneto and Mutant Force. Okay. So you're not supposed to stand Cassandra Nova so hard, but I'm glad we only got one issue of this because I wouldn't want to see her lose.
I was interested to see. I didn't know that she could teleport people away like that. That was cool, like how she did
She's
with
all powerful.
Yeah, I mean that was really cool. And I do want to say, to the point of like skimpy outfits and stuff, the only skimpy outfit I've seen in this whole thing is by Frenzy with like her belt, low skirt thing. That outfit is bad but good. I love it. I want to cosplay it. But it's also horrible.
But, oh my god, Emma Frost had a subdue outfit in the
She did.
Like,
that was weird.
Like, what the hell? Like, this is just totally how repressed this America is.
It was so good.
They made her dress in that. They said, ma'am, you need to cover this and down there. No, you can't walk out like that. And she said, I'm Emma Frost. And they were like, ma'am, this is a Wendy's. You can't be here.
They're like, you leave your Claremontian kinkery at home, okay?
Well, but that was what this was. This was Claremontian kinkery. It was like Steve Orlando said, what's missing from the X-Men right now? Hated, feared, miserable, dying, evil from the inside. I got you. And like, it flowed forth. Now, I mean, number one, we've had some commentary on. So, step back for a moment. Bernard Chang left Children of the Atom with issue 2 and did this. I have to say, we had some issues with the blocking on Children of the Atom. It felt I compared it to MC2, the Spider-Girl universe. And it felt very that sort of Tom DeFalco kind of that very heavy sort of this is killing me. I can't think of who drew the Magic miniseries. Him and his brother, both so talented. How is my mind blanking?
Would you like me to go grab the issues right now? I have them.
I'm going to scream really loud.
Which Magic miniseries?
A classic.
Oh.
With Storm. And Ileana. John Buscema! John Buscema. That was so... I was ashamed of myself.
Oh, because it's Sal Buscema, yeah.
Yeah. So there was a lot of classic, like, Buscema 70s blocking that we thought maybe didn't fit the strength of Vita's very modernized script. But here, it was like a totally different Bernard Chang was drawing every page in a way that felt like sequential alternate universe hymns flowing through this book. He captured mindscape. He captured depth and dimension. This was such a strong artist making such a strong comeback for me and drawing the same figures that he drew in Children of the Atom, but drawing them in a way that made me say, this guy's fucking imagination. This guy's fucking imagination. I was so pleased, and that he even took the time to put Cassandra Nova in what would be this universe's like pith helmet outfit with like the bit of the schoolgirl pants, and I was enamored of this issue.
That issue had so many like throwbacks to like other stories. Even the name of it, Beware, Psychic Rescue in Progress. Like, hello, like, oh my god. And like the fact that I didn't know it was Cassandra Nova at first, right from that title, I was like rereading it. I'm like, oh, how did I not know that? Like, oh. And then you've got Rogue instead of Kree. She gets a skull.
Skymax.
Yeah.
Yes, I was
Oh
like,
my god.
holy shit! And
Holy
then
shit.
you've got another like cool like side nod to a different alternate universe, Days of Future Past, with Magneto being in the chair. I was like, oh my god, this is so great.
And with the Magneto doing the expelling the energy
Yes!
that looked just like the image from God Loves Man Kills.
Yes!
And there was just I could flip this fucking desk because the amount of iconography that Bernard Chang put into this issue is just sort of that masterwork that you really hope an artist can achieve. Now, Rod, I know you are, I mean, whether it's your amazingly talented fiance who is an artist, or it's the fact that you make sure that you're, you know, in all of your reviews, you talk about the artistry and the evolution of pencilers. How did you feel? I mean, if you had even realized that this is the guy who did the first two Children of the Atom, how do you feel with that sort of change in direction for him as a penciler?
Yeah, I mean, I did realize it. I realized it because of the name, not really the art. The art was even better for me. I feel like I know Children of the Atom had like some pushback and it was rushed at times, so it might have been because of that. But these are also more known characters, so are more established characters. So he probably knew like what specifically they wanted to do and all of that. But it was fantastic. I mean, I wanted more than just one issue of this. I'm sad we only got one. Like, I'm glad we don't get to see Cassandra Nova lose. But this reminded me of the excitement I had for like the Age of X-Men one.
Yeah.
That AU one. Yeah, I like that one a lot. And this gave me kind of that feel that was like, it doesn't matter because it's not real, but I still love it.
Did you notice who replaced Cyclops in the 05? It was Legion.
Oh my god,
Yeah, it was
big
Legion.
hair.
That
and
was
then
awesome.
Adrox was there next to
Yes.
Iceman at one point. Now
I was like,
I was most excited to see Sabra. We haven't seen her in a very long
Yes.
time. Why isn't she on Krakoa? Why isn't she on a team?
well, okay, now that actually does lead me to something really important. I've made that exact comment a number of times, and something occurred to me that I guess kind of breaks my heart. Sabra really can't be part of Krakoa. That's really
No, she
against her
can't.
nature. She believes in the rights of her people, and she believes in being one with the sovereignty of her people. And for her to break lockstep from her faith would not fit her character narrative. And for that reason, it's why we can't ever really have Sunfire for too long. It's why we can't ever have Dr. Cecilia Reyes where she's not operating as a doctor for too long. Certain people belong in certain spheres, and it just made me miss Sabra so much more.
Oh, you know who I miss? Introduced in the exact same Contest of Champions. Where's Shamrock?
Shamrock.
What is she doing?
Yes! Oh my god.
There's a lot of mutants that are not around.
Yeah, and
Is
you know what?
Shamrock a mutant? Is she kinda-
Arabian Night is
No,
so
like,
hot. If
like,
we're talking
No, she's
Contest
not
of
a mutant.
Champions, Arabian Night is just too hot. So I'm just saying.
like I love
He's-
that future, like that weird alternate future of Guardians of the Galaxy where Shamrock like survived like the whole time into the future. Like, I was, yes!
That was cool.
Yeah, she could do that. She got the look of the Irish.
So, but Jonah, my question for you is, how did you feel about this sort of reimagining of the X-Men from a past, present? Like, this is like literally a reimaginings of future past. How do you feel about this re-encapsulation of the X-Men from a zeitgeist?
It was really interesting because I did not see the Cassandra Nova twist happening. It didn't cross my mind. It didn't hit me like, oh my god, there wouldn't be a sequence of Jean and Emma working together to remove Cassandra from Xavier's mind, so she would still be lurking there, and she in an event to tie into current events as well as like Way of X, almost like a onslaught kind of thing of combining both their negative emotions and kind of just eating away at Magneto. I can feel him. No, that wasn't him. That was his munch munch crunch crunch. She's here for the lunch. I think Rod's the only one who gets that. That was for Rod. That was for Rod.
Welcome back to Krakoan Drag Race.
Listen, All Star 6 just, it's around the corner. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. I was really fascinated with the jailbreak. I'm actually really surprised that they decided to keep Emma alive. And I say that because even though Emma isn't classified as an 11 mega mutant, she is somebody who is very tricky, very hard to kill, and she's probably one of the smartest mutants we have. Not at genius level, but she's a very interesting tactician. We've seen it in the way that she's kind of wormed her way before becoming a hero in how she was managed to try to maintain her level of control within the Hellfire Club, later, being a teacher and all these different things. I was really surprised that they kept her alive because from a Mephisto standpoint, doesn't make a lot of sense because you really wouldn't want an extremely powerful psychic to, you really wouldn't want her alive.
Didn't they reveal she had dealings with Power Princess in the past? So Power Princess probably wanted to keep her alive just to spite Emma Frost's ass.
Yes, it did look like there were some rivalry between the two.
Check out Crisis on Infinite crossover event number 7.
Why?
I loved that fate.
I was like, this is fucking amalgam. I love it.
I'm like, no infinite crises in Marvel. No, thank you.
No,
Sorry.
thank you.
I will not do it.
There was a tweet recently where someone was asking for, could we just have like editors' notes boxes where they just yell at the characters?
Yes, please.
Again.
I love it.
Overall, I was also really intrigued by the characters used. Like, I love Frenzy getting a moment, front and center,
So
maintaining
good.
that level of representation that she gets to bring and gets to, people get to deserve and need to see Frenzy.
Still looking super Bob Layton, still looking super X Factor, Axis of Evil numbers 5 through 7, looking like a beast, everything I want from a Frenzy, so good.
And I was really, I wasn't happy with the answer, but I was happy to have gotten the answer of, well, what exactly happened to the X-Men? What happened to these mutants? And we find out the Supreme Squadron was like, you're either getting tagged or you're dying. And they were like, no, we just want to live. And they were like,
no.
stabby stab.
Fuck you, America.
They're like, you're too crazy and you're not human, so bad.
Nothing says America like extinguishing a minority.
Right?
And it's not like, certain other one of those members of the Supreme Squadron got their powers from somewhere else that wasn't actually theirs. It's almost like, huh.
Well,
exactly.
Speaking of mutants, breakouts, the mutant massacre, powers that aren't theirs, and the Squadron, that's a pretty great segue to talk about how fucking good the Silver Witch versus Blur was. I write a comic about a speedster, and I write a comic about a guy who has tactile speed, so he propels himself with speed. So when he messes with another speedster, the effects are kind of weird because it's two conflicting time forces opposing each other, and that's something I love to write for some reason. And I feel like when DC does Speed Force stuff, they're willing to go there. But when Marvel does it, it's usually like Peter David being like, Quicksilver's such a cranky bastard that he got a new speed power or whatever. This was such a beautiful fusion of idea, and the art was occasionally gross in all the best ways. I really found myself pleased because I don't like arrogant speedsters. A speedster is already too powerful. You don't make him arrogant. That's annoying, right? That's House. But right? This guy seriously suffered from ADHD and clearly suffered from elements of depression due to his
Yeah.
ADHD and clearly suffered from mania from his ADHD and had some sense of imposter syndrome despite having every power. And I just loved it. How did you guys feel about what might have been the most exciting speed off we've had in Avengers since Quicksilver? Let's just pretend Quicksilver's ever done something interesting.
I mean, he hasn't. I'm glad he's not around right
Crystal,
now.
maybe Crystal.
Oh no,
Does
he did
Crystal
make.
count
He
as
did.
interesting?
Yeah, that's why I was like maybe.
Oh, Crystal's interesting.
You do
How
not go
dare
after
you.
humans.
Wow. No, I mean you can go after some of them, but like Crystal's,
Yeah.
Crystal's fine. And
She's fine.
yeah, she's better than Quicksilver. The one thing Quicksilver did before I go on actual important speedster, the one good thing Quicksilver did was make the child that he did with Crystal.
Luna.
That
Oh,
Luna is a precious baby, and that's the only thing I will give Quicksilver. The rest he can just go away. But with Blur, I love that the internet as a whole was like, this is the best Flash story that ever existed. And I don't personally I hate speedsters. I don't like them. I don't understand. I don't get the fascination with Flash. With the
I like
speedsters
Wally
in
West.
general. I
That's
understand.
my favorite.
I understand liking their personalities, but the powers itself, it annoys the shit out of me.
Makes me sleepy.
Right, exactly. But I did really like this story because it was supposed to be ridiculous, and that's what makes this event so fun. And it's like combined with this amazing, detailed, like you say, gross ass art that is just so fun. And we got the Ghost Runner.
Oh my
We got
god!
the Ghost
Penance
Runner.
stairs!
Yes! How the hell did that happen? That's so fucking amazing.
The penance stairs, you guys.
I don't really get how Ghost Runner exists if Mephisto's supposed to be the god of this universe. But
He's building a mystery though. So.
yeah, it's a mystery. I don't really get it. I don't know how
Is
they,
it going to start
but-
surfacing soon? Is it going to
It is.
surrender?
Mephisto
Are you
is
just going to start
DMing.
going through
It is.
Sarah
Mephisto is
McLachlan's
DMing this world.
discography?
He's
Why
super
not?
railroading.
Why not?
Mephisto is railroading everybody, and he's like, "No, this is my story. This is how it's supposed to go. I don't care what you rolled. This is how it's supposed to happen." And you're like, "What?"
He's like, but it doesn't make sense.
Okay, can we just talk about how many alternate realities Wanda's just gone around saying no more something? Like, what the fuck?
She has a
more
problem.
speed.
No more speed. Like in the Age of Apocalypse, they had her like do no more mutants again. It's like, yeah.
She has a problem. She can't be told no because then she goes no again. Just knows it back even harder.
She's like the moment. She's like the moment. She's like, no more, no more, no more.
She
Sorry.
just
She's
thumbs
the
up her
embodiment
nose at
of
it.
a Uno reverse card.
Yeah. She's the ultimate Uno player.
She's the red reverse.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Back to you.
You better write that name down. That's a good name.
Red reverse. Yeah, do
Red
that.
reverse. Man, I gotta, excuse me, DC, I know you guys are having a lot of trouble staying awake, but if you could, I would love to write Flash. I have this idea for the red reverse.
We don't need another speedster. Oh,
Like,
God.
Right, don't make it Wally West though, please. Just make him the Flash.
No, make it Wally West. Make everybody mad.
No!
Do it. Do it. Make him evil again. I want to see all the nerds on the internet cry.
Okay, look, you obviously didn't grow up loving Teen Titans, so
Well,
I did.
I'm gonna try and see if I can do
did.
myself. I'm gonna write Teen Titans Goes and Sees Dirty Dancing, which is going to be the sequel to the upcoming Teen Titans Go See Whatever movie they're going to see. That they're doing this for real. There's an animated movie
really?
coming out.
It's the original Space Jam.
Yeah, it's Teen Titans Go See Space Jam, and it's
wait, isn't the Teen Titans Go?
Yes.
Titans?
are gonna go see Space Jam.
That's
And
cool.
I think it's the cutest, best idea in the world. I
Oh
would,
my god.
I think
pay-
it's like a Mystery Science Theater kind of
Yeah.
thing where they're just going to comment over it, like
Yeah.
in character.
Oh my god, Starfire.
because
I wanna
if
see this.
I could get the classic Claremont X-Men to go see Star Wars with Kitty,
Aww.
I would pay any amount of money for that story. And just like, I can imagine Storm being like, "Thank you for sharing this with me. I know what it means to you." And Kurt being like, "Logan, wasn't the sword fighting amazing?" And Logan being like, "I got swords for you." And like, Scott sitting there saying things like, "My only point would be that you would never be able to fly at that angle through space. It's unrealistic." I'm
Scott
just
does love an
speaking
angle.
from experience. Well, that's actually Scott's hidden power. A number of the X-Men have hidden powers that people forget about. Like Kurt can blend into darkness. Scott has perfect undulation. He can
Oh,
understand angles, which is how he's able to use his concussive non-heat related
Yes.
blasts to reflect off of things.
that
He
makes
has
sense.
Storm never has a bad hair day.
Yeah, Storm never. Well, because she can control the ions in the air, and she can actually make her hair do what she wants. Like these powers exist.
Nico's brain short circuit.
Why do you think her mohawk stayed so perfect all the time? I mean,
I mean, true.
We should all be lucky enough that Storm always gifts us with a mohawk. Now, I do have to talk about some sad things. Now, I have to admit, I have no fondness for Rocket Raccoon.
I do. I love him.
I love Groot. I love Groot very much. I thought the Dr. Spectrum issue was fundamentally disturbing.
It was so good.
There was something so sad about
Mhm.
everyone. Dr. Spectrum doesn't seem to relish murder. He seems to believe this is his purpose. That is not to say that he enjoys it, but that is to say that he believes it is his function. And Rocket Raccoon believed his was simply to die. And Groot, a creature of love, was turned into a weapon. And the fundamental overtone of the Dr. Spectrum issue was death is upon all of us in a world that the devil rules. And I found myself questioning how much of this issue was actually body horror. Rocket was robotic, Groot was a gun, Dr. Spectrum has been remade into a monster. How did you guys feel about this sudden change of pace? 1 and 2 were identifying, 1 from Blade's point of view, this is what's different. Hyperion, 2, I am the Captain America. Ugh. Number 3, Blur, and he's just kind of wacky. And then we get number 4, and it's literally, I mean, Dr. Spectrum literally blasts the Cancerverse at them. He literally fills them with the fucking Cancerverse. This was dark.
It was really dark, and I don't like Doctor Spectrum because of some of his views, just like all of them. I can't get past it. But him as a character on what he does is really badass because he took the eyes from
Uatu.
From Uatu. He took the eyes from Uatu. He shot Thanos' gauntlet off of his hand.
Oh my god, and I love
Like-
their rings.
Our fingers, yeah.
Rings.
yes,
Their rings. And then he threw Ego the Living Planet into a black hole. Like,
yeah.
It's so, this is exactly my kind of book. Because it's just so ridiculous, so action filled, so pretty. And then like the talking over, he believes in himself that he is a creature of God, like Nathan said, so much that he's like, I have to cleanse the universe, make it like America. That is my job. That is why I got this. And it really makes you, it's disturbing, but it's believable because he believes in himself.
I know people like that, or I knew people like that.
Oh yeah, and like
not like crazy like space
Not like
stars,
flying
but
in space with a giant gemstone.
Yeah, but like people who believe that. But, yeah.
Oh, people can believe like all sorts of things if they truly, truly believe it and you hear them talk about it. It's not like you start believing it yourself, but you really feel how they feel because of their passion. Even if they're insane, you still get that. Like you understand the way they feel just because of their passion for it. And that's how I see Dr. Spectrum. An insane, religious, crazy person, but he is in it.
Do you know why I felt sad that Rocket was fighting Dr. Spectrum alone with Groot? I was like, oh my god, they fucking killed the Starjammers! Like,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right.
I was like, oh my god, Cyclops and Havoc are dead. Maybe Johnny Storm, I don't know. But like,
Oh yeah, that's true.
Well, I don't know, because Echo's got the Phoenix. So
Oh yeah.
But that does lead me to a question, Jonah. I feel like I have underprepared you because it occurs to me that you don't know what the new universe is. And it occurs to me that you don't know who the Star Brand is.
That was actually going to be
Oh,
something
yeah.
I asked.
Yeah.
I don't know who Starbrand is. I don't know her.
So,
I
okay,
just don't.
here's what happened. In 1961, the Marvel Universe was born. And then 25 years later, it was time for a new universe to be born. And in a very, very, very bad move, Marvel sunk a disturbing amount of capital into a second line of comics known as New Universe, and New Universe was hyper gritty and filled with realism like the 80s, and it was all very Miami Vice with superheroes, and it was terrible. And the best two things to come out of it were Justice and the Star Brand. And the unfortunate, shouldn't be named too much, Ellis, who worked on Excalibur, did a really breathtaking reimagining of it at one point called New Universal, which was super excellent. And Starbrand is one of Jonathan Hickman's favorite ideas. Starbrand is sort of this power that comes to someone when they're in danger. It's kind of like a Captain Universe kind of power.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And Jonathan Hickman had the Starbrand come through to our world, which in his Avengers, which I thought was very daring because, well, now what the fuck is Quasar going to look like?
Hopefully still hot.
Avril,
Right?
she's amazing. But
Well, Quasar's ability, the starburst that he uses, to me always looks exactly like the Starbrand. Just like Dazzler and Captain Marvel are already close enough, but then when you add
so like if you look at that one cover, they like
Quasar is in
put it-
Guardians right now, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
he is. Yeah, the
Yeah.
two different, the woman
Both
and
of
the
them.
man.
Both of
Yeah,
them are.
both of
Both
them.
of
They're
them.
fused together.
wait, is
Yeah.
Quasar really the Starbrand right now?
No, not the Starbrand. Just Quasar.
Yeah.
They're
Wait, because I'm
Quasar.
like, isn't the little baby Starbrand right now?
The little baby is
Yes,
Starbrand.
a little baby Starbrand, but Quasar's the
There's
yeah.
two different Quasars
Okay,
and
cool.
they're
I'm
fused
like-
together right now. Yeah,
Quasar is a hot lesbian. I love her. But
yeah.
Oh, now I've got what you mean. Yes,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, whew. I'm like, when did Quasar and the Starbrand? I gotta go. I just gotta leave because now I'm confused. No, I'm completely with you. So Starbrand, kind of like a lonely phoenix, if you really need something to compare it to. Too much
Yeah.
power, saves your life when you're in trouble, comes and helps you out from this alternate universe. Been playing here for about 8 years.
Yeah. I'm confused on why she's grown up in this reality. Like not grown up all the way, but like she's not a baby.
like that big.
She's like a 10-year-old now instead of like a infant.
I wonder what the time is because they did the attack on mutant riot was 10 years ago. Like, if you notice that, so like they had like all of the characters that like I don't know that Rogue was really around 10 years ago in Marvel time. So maybe Heroes Reborn is in the future a little.
Oh, like a future past time shift guy.
Okay, that makes sense because she's older.
And you know, it's also of note that for me, I was really concerned about seeing Echo. There's a line in the final issue after Age of the Phoenix where the comment is made that no one knows how long this host might stay with Echo and how the Phoenix could leave her at any moment and who knows. And that made me feel very away because she's the first disabled host for the Phoenix. She is the first woman of color to be host to the Phoenix because even in the Phoenix 5, they were all white.
They were, yeah.
So, and now, you know, I understand that there's been some other hosts out there over the time and blah, 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 but I was really concerned they were going to take the Phoenix Force from Echo really quickly. So when they didn't, I was pleased and elated. But I do find myself questioning this timeline that she's aware she just became the Phoenix, right? She even makes that comment, I watched a world burn to cinders on my first day. I feel like this is the manipulation that Mephisto was waiting for. He was waiting for to kind of hit everybody with maybe a little too much Aaron's Avengers all at once. Khonshu's plan was perhaps the most brilliant plan in the history of the Marvel Universe. One by one, he would steal all of the avatars of power and give them to one being who would fight in his name. Now, this was also done by Doom in the pages of Jason Aaron's Avengers. Yeah. I'm sorry, Jason Aaron's Thor. But, you know, here we get, you know, Khonshu doing it through Moon Knight. Now, I do believe that Moon Knight, empowered by Khonshu, would possibly be able to defeat Danny Rand and get the Iron Fist. I think that is possible. And then I believe using those two abilities to keep gathering them, right? So because of Khonshu, because of the fucking moon, all of the powers in the Marvel Universe are out of whack. And now the greatest power of them all, the Phoenix, is here, and it's been given to someone totally new. There's this huge influx of reality-altering power, and I think that's what Mephisto used. I don't think he necessarily used her power, But I think it's sort of that I found a little opening that I could use to make a bigger opening and a bigger opening. And I think that's what we're really seeing. We're seeing a dark alignment that he is exploiting. So I do love your question of timetables, because I think the question of timetables becomes even more apparent in the next issue. Issue 5 presents me with two things that are way too hot. Number one, Nighthawk is such a fucking fantastic character. It's
Mhm.
ridiculous what a great character Kyle Richmond is. It is ridiculous how good every iteration of him is. I just love this character because he's Batman without the arrogance. And that's
Yeah.
a thing for me. It made me all of the anger.
More anger.
It was amazing to watch a black Batman fight
Mhm.
Black Ronin, who, of
Mhm.
course, turns out to be T'Challa.
Yeah.
But now that's where my question comes in. Can we accept that Wakanda has stayed secret for this long? Can we accept that this. I mean, the Black Panther for me represents a mistake you don't make. If you are planning something, right? We were just talking about this in X-Men 20's discussion. I said that I truly believe that it's actually possible that Moira, Charles, and Eric are purposely confusing Mystique with this chase for Irene. Because when you need to manipulate a situation, you take your best players off the board. You can't kill Mystique, but you can keep her distracted. Maybe they're just keeping Mystique distracted. I feel like Black Panther isn't a person you leave on the board. I feel like leaving T'Challa on the board is a unique kind of mistake that is not an exponent you leave in the equation, right? How do you guys feel about the fact that T'Challa was so available? I mean, he had to break. Blade had to break Captain America out of ice. Blade had to go break Echo out of jail. Blade just has to be like, "Hi, T'Challa. I know you're secretly Ronin. Come play with me." And T'Challa's like, "Panther, Panther. Okay."
we we did see them come from the space, apparently, in issue 4. So I'm thinking maybe they came back from the space and like came back to Earth, the Mephisto Earth, and they're like trying to stop maybe Mephisto or something like that. Because like they I don't think they were on Earth for that much longer, or haven't been on Earth for a while. And like they were looking for the Star Brand, obviously, for more firepower because it's Mephisto, and then it's the Squadron Supreme. So that's a lot of firepower to go through. And also, Mephisto, obviously, he got rid of like Jean Grey and like other people, because Jean Grey's not there. But I think he like I was trying to maybe said before, I think the Panther God maybe it protected Wakanda. Or Mephisto was just arrogant enough, because he is, to just not be
Yes.
like, oh well, he's just human. He's a
Yes.
powered human.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, he's just human. What can he really do to me that I can't just do to him that would really affect me? So
And
he's
it
like,
is
"I'll let it go."
dangerous as fuck to underestimate T'Challa.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
holy shit.
Oh definitely.
And I can see Wakanda staying hidden because obviously they mentioned exterminating the Inhumans. So like if Attilan was found out, and they pretty much are wiped out, I can see why Wakanda would want to stay hidden.
Mhm.
So,
And leave Earth at that.
How
yeah.
much firepower do you need to exterminate the Inhumans?
I mean,
Karnak.
Karnak,
Honestly,
yeah, Karnak,
Uh,
I feel like
Karnak
most
and
people would be fucking
Black Bolt.
themselves.
You
Wait,
feel
what?
like the Inhumans would just kill themselves?
No,
I mean,
they're
kinda.
just too busy fucking.
Oh, Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
they are.
Or you just pipe some pollution in at that point.
Yeah, and I feel like what other than Black Bolt, what big firepower did they have that would stand against like the Squadron Supreme?
Maximus.
Maximus true. But if they can stop Jean and they can stop Emma, then they can stop Maximus.
Okay, so we saw Hyperion like fucking fly through Galactus and like fucking
Yeah,
kill him.
he's
So,
able to
like-
do Galactus.
And
like-
Hulk.
And
yeah,
Hulk. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Black Bolt. You're powerful, but
To answer your question, Nico, as to why he left T'Challa on the board, I have to imagine Mephisto realized he didn't have a choice. There are certain things that, for things to go in his favor, he has to kind of let play out. It's why I said, why would you leave Emma on the board? That's the mutant's White Queen. There are a couple characters from other main titles that I don't think he had a choice in not letting stay, because otherwise it's not the reality where he has the highest chance of succeeding.
Yeah, and I think that ties into the mystique point I was making, that in terms of I think that you wind up in these situations where there's people you just have to keep off the board. As a matter of fact, I don't know if anybody else is a big Squadron fan, but my favorite member of the Squadron isn't here. Where's Arcana?
Who's our? Give me a give me.
She's their Zatanna,
Oh,
and
okay.
Yeah.
she survived the end of the Ultimate Universe, and like I kind of like, where is their sorceress, right? She would be sorceress supreme, even if we're in an alternate universe. Wouldn't there still be a sorceress supreme or sorcerer supreme? So
Yeah, because there's no Doctor Strange.
yeah,
And Doom or not, or what? Doctor Juggernaut is not it.
No.
I love him so much.
I love him so much. I just want a big dumb Build-A-Figure of him. Oh, you broke my head with your neck muscles. I mean, who loves that? I mean, that's so good.
Yeah,
Now,
there's not a lot of magic users actually in this world besides Silver Witch.
whose main
Yeah.
power seems to have been switched over to super speed.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it's like even more so kind of like,
And
I
the
was
Ghost
going
Racer.
I was going to ask, does Belasco still kidnap a 6-year-old Ileana and forcibly teach her the dark magics of Limbo?
well, now here's my question. If we know that this is a different kind of Russia that is still antagonizing the United States with supers, is this the kind of Russia that would have ever let Colossus and Ileana leave for America where Belasco could steal her?
Well, Colossus was at DC. He was in the
Right.
Mutant Riot. So we didn't see anything about Ileana, so probably not. But Belasco had dealings before the Rasputins with Margali Sardo, so maybe something along the Winding Way.
I see that you're always going to find a way to bring up Amanda Sefton. I think
I
it's
tried to bring up Amanda Sefton.
It's
I'm sorry.
really, really impressive. I'm always very impressed.
Point A, point B, Amanda Sefton.
I do want to say that I feel like especially when I read the first two issues, I feel like I had this story figured out. But as each issue I read, I don't have it figured out anymore. Like they keep throwing things at us, and I'm just like, they don't really make sense, but are really fun to read. And they make sense in the way that the story is told that one issue, but in the grand scheme of things, they don't make sense. And I'm just like, what is happening? I can't figure out the timetable of the story. Like we're trying to figure out, what is Mephisto planning? What is this? Because when you read an event, especially when you get towards the middle, which we are in the middle, you can kind of figure out what's going to happen, or to a certain point. But this, I have no idea.
I agree. And I think that's an important thing, not to get Shakespearean for a moment, but we understand the ending of so if you got third act problems, you got first act problems, right?
Mhm.
So if by the midpoint, if by act 2 of 3, you're not aware of how this is going to go, right? Then perhaps the storytelling is either a little muddled, or you're going for a purpose, obfuscation. But I agree with you. I thought this was going to be, and now the Avengers and the Squadron fight. And I know that's still what the solicits say. But unless the Squadron are willing to fight on the side of Mephisto, I'm like,
And each issue, at least each main issue, or even the one-shots, have been introducing a new threat and a new pawn piece that was left. Captain America is back now. They freed Maya and her Phoenix Force. Cassandra Nova is free and even more powerful than ever, disintegrating 2 members of the Squadron very easily. You also have the Star Brand now being found by the Wakandan Space Force. There's a lot of these very powerful entities kind of in play now, that it's a big mystery to me. Well, how are these all going to interact with one another? Did they already interact in certain ways and now they're trying to have to find a different one? There are a lot of characters and these very big and powerful things that make you wonder, well, how exactly can this end? You have a lot of these cosmic entities that are rivaling each other, and the power scales off the charts. Are they going to clash? Are they going to work together? What does that mean?
And, the cover of The Return, which is the 8th issue of the miniseries, does in fact feature the Star Brand child fighting alongside Captain America. So I do think, yeah, the Star Brand has been coming to protect us this whole time. Now, I just finished an Avengers by Aaron reread, and I like it so much more this time. I even liked it in the first place, but it reads really, really well all at once in a trade. And there's such a focus on humanity throughout it. One of my favorite issues is, of course, Cap, Tony, and Thor and Jen skinny dipping in a hot tub together.
Love
And
that issue.
I love Carol being Robbie's older sister and covering his eyes when Jen gets up and she's fully naked, right? But because they're these big buff gods of men, Robbie, the Ghost Rider, is kind of nervous, so he stays in his t-shirt. And that's Aaron's Avengers for me, so that he's finding the room to explore these ideas and still tie it back into his Avengers with, the Star Brand showing up and stuff.
Yep.
I'm really, really excited. Now, I know when we next meet, we're going to be discussing predominantly the one-shots that have been released in the time since, as well as issue number 6. But here's my question. So far, we have a complex narrative full of really flawed, awful heroes. And for the most part, the perspective has been from the point of view of the Squadron. The first issue was Blade, but then we had Hyperion, Blur, Dr. Spectrum, and finally, for issue 5, we saw things from the point of view of Nighthawk, who sort of represents logic in this nightmare. And as Jonah pointed out, each issue kind of brought us back a hero. Issue 1 gave us Thor, where he did the Beerstein slam and it summoned the hammer, in a manner of speaking. In issue 2, we regained Cap. In issue 3, I don't remember who we got back in 3, but I know 4 was Maya. Oh, was it 3 Maya?
4 was Maya. 3 was Maya.
3 is Maya.
And 4 was Starbrand.
4 was Starbrand, with 5 being T'Challa.
Yeah.
So I believe we have one more hero to regain next issue. If it's not Tony Stark, I can't make sense of Tony Stark in the cave. The whole Avengers thing is Tony Stark finds his own head in a cave. Well, no. Okay. Okoye finds Tony Stark's helmet in a cave, and it's 1,000,000 years old. And it turns out that the helmet has been around since the prehistoric Avengers, and it has something to do with Mephisto. And so if Tony Stark doesn't start playing a role in this, I may be a little bit lost. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for Tony to step up and be part of this story the way I know he should. What about you guys? Are you guys hoping for a specific outcome from this, or are you just along for the whacked out ride, as the solicits keep calling it?
Tony makes the most sense because Jen isn't Gamma right now, and Carol isn't powered either, and then Robbie's riding a bicycle. So it's like, of the original Avengers, the Avengers team that is right now, all you have is Iron Man, and Iron Man is a billionaire still. Like, he's still top of the world and everything, so he could, make an outfit. He's still, like, a genius. So their next best thing, zap zap. And Blade knows that Tony is, resourceful, even if he might not. I don't even know how Blade feels about Tony, but he'll probably be like, hey, we need money and technology. So T'Challa needs to work with Tony to build something. So let's go to Tony Stark,
I'm going to go wild and say the last hero that we're going to introduce into the group is somebody that we've actually seen pretty much the whole miniseries as a villain, because she remembers sort of what's going on, would be Wanda.
Ooh.
Yeah, because she knows there's something wrong with reality. So,
okay.
I don't know.
My guess is a character we've not seen, was not mentioned, very likely won't be it, but I'm still going to say it because I just want to talk about her. This is my only segue. Moondragon.
I would love to see Moondragon.
Yeah, Moondragon. That'd be cool.
No Moondragon!
No!
What do you mean, no Moondragon? We love Heather Douglas.
Wait, whoa. How do you not like Moondragon?
I don't think she can. I don't think Drax ever had her in this reality, because he died, right? So I don't think she exists.
I love Moondragon, but
I do.
What
yes.
in the fuck does she have to do? I hope Hillary Clinton shows up. I hope Hillary Clinton shows up and gets the Infinity Rings.
I hope it's Supreme Court Justice Dazzler. Okay, that's it.
Okay, so on Jonah's defense, a lot of things pop up in this story, like I said, that don't make sense. So Moondragon popping up would be cool because there's no other telepaths really except for Cassandra and Emma, and we don't even know if they're still alive, if that was a past story or not.
Okay,
So.
but in this universe, she's Sailor Moondragon, so
okay.
Oh, so she's actually just nice to people. Anyway,
yeah.
that was just my excuse to talk about Moondragon for a second because we just haven't seen her, and it's like, well, she's really powerful, and she's even more powerful than the other actual mutant psychics that are Omega level. So like,
Yeah.
Is she really more powerful than...
She controlled a whole planet with the help of a little enhancement. I mean, she wasn't like it was,
Like,
I'm just going off what I read.
Are you really gonna bet on Heather versus Jean Grey? I mean,
I don't know.
She bested Jean Grey already.
Yeah, I'm like,
but it was like 90s Jean Grey.
Moondragon is really good.
Dating.
Moondragon has shown her features really well in the recent Guardians that she's in.
She shows her features a lot.
Yeah, so I think she would be like on the same. Oh my god, I just got that. God damn it. I think she would be on par, even more than Jean Grey at this point. At least in the 616 reality. I don't know about Heroes Reborn reality, but yeah.
But actual answer, I have to agree because of me trying to think of other Avengers that can possibly come back and try to help save the day. I don't really think it's going to be Natasha or Clint. I don't. No. I really don't think it's going to be Tigra. Doesn't really seem like she would be the one to.
Hey guys, it's me. I'm Pam. I'm here to help. Hey guys, do you need a cat lady? Who needs a furry?
Speaking
I'm
of
here.
cat ladies, I don't think it's going to be Hellcat. Patsy, probably not going to be her. I have to. I'm just naming Avengers now.
I was like, I don't know where you're going.
Monica Rambeau? No.
Yeah. Okay, so where is Monica and Blue Marvel? I guess they don't exist.
I can back up not getting Monica, but
yeah.
Adam Brishar should exist on his own, timeline wise. Like, we should also have the Agents of Atlas. We should also have... Well, okay, no! Oh, shit! There was one line that changed everything! Oh my god, how am I being so dumb? Of course everything has changed from the beginning. Oh my god, so everybody that's listened to all hour and 8 minutes of this is like, they finally got there. Guys, they literally said Power Princess was an invader, which means that the timeline is different as far back as 1943.
Holy shit, I didn't get that. Oh my god.
They said that Zarda was an invader when she came from another world. And then they said that when she returned to her home planet at some point, brought germs from Earth, and they killed everyone on her planet. So, she has such a long history that it was really easy to kind of miss that. But oh my god, I completely forgot that they said she was an invader, which means she served during World War II.
Holy shit, she was in the Justice Society. I mean, invaders, but
and then might as well be Justice Society.
And then they also gave us that, okay, I don't know how we're going to talk about this, but in issue 5, that the symbiote attached to Nighthawk.
Yes! Oh my god!
That was so cool. And Black Cat was there, okay.
Oh no! I was like, Felicia, come on, really?
Oh, so good.
Well, think about it. She didn't have a Spider-Man to fall in love with, but she found a different dark, mysterious hero who's much more richer and probably a lot hotter than Peter.
But like, why did he end up with all of Peter's exes? Like Gwen Stacy, Felicia Hardy. Like, come on.
Well, he didn't date Gwen Stacy. She's still a child in this. He just has her as a sidekick.
Well, like, she's a child.
She is a child.
He's a sidekick.
It's once as an instance, but twice as a hobby that he happened to have picked up a couple of Peter's comrades.
Yeah. He's essentially the Spider-Man.
Here's the question then, come to think, because you're right, he's the Spider-Man, but he's not the Tony Stark, which you would think the foil to Cap would be. So that the foil to Cap is the Spider-Man makes him the genius everyman. So
I guess that's Peter.
I hadn't really thought about the fact that they took the Batman analogy and they wrapped it up in Spider-Man, which makes me ask one final question for you guys. What transitional role do you guys think worked the best or the least? I think making the comparison of Hyperion to Superman works really well. He takes a nap in the sun to get real hot or whatever. But that he's basically like Captain America's dead. I'm the Sentinel of Liberty. That's not liberty. That's liberty bibberty. That's not at all what liberty is. And you're doing it wrong. So I think for me, I understand a lot of the other parallels, but in this instance, Hyperion is playing Iron Man. He's playing the guy who takes the law too far to protect people, which is not a Cap thing at all. Cap is much more like Nighthawk in this instance, where he's like, even if this is what's best for me, is it's what's best for the world. Do you guys feel any of the other, DC Marvel analogous relationships maybe fell short of the intention here?
I don't know. I don't know if because I know obviously Blur's Flash, and that's about it. I think that's all they did for him was basically Flash personality, and then Doctor Spectrum was like the arrogance of the Lantern Corps. And Nighthawk, Nighthawk they put the most on because they did make him Captain America and Spider-Man and Batman.
Batman. Yep.
So
Oh, what if Power Princess is gonna be Captain Marvel too?
And I was wondering, what if Dr. Spectrum is Captain Marvel? Maybe goes a little too far, flies through space.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Holy
duh.
shit!
Blur
It
is
brings
then
her.
acting like Ghost Rider because he's young and irresponsible and
Oh
burning
yeah.
through things too hard, transporting himself between realities and stuff, going back and forth to hell, and like there's something weird here where like because like I'm like, oh, I see these things, but not everyone does. So that maybe tells me that they're not hitting as hard as they could, and I could be imagining things where there are none. I'm very good at this, but that doesn't, I'm just kind of noticing that there's the analogous relationship. It's kind of not as tight as we would expect from a Squadron story.
Holy shit, though. Now that you mentioned that about Dr. Spectrum and Carol, I am like mind blown because I still think of Carol Danvers as like the fucking person we got in Claremont's Uncanny, and that's been like fucking 30 years.
Yeah.
And she's not that person anymore.
No, she's strong and dangerous.
I do see the Carol Danvers in Doctor Spectrum, especially with now I see it. Now you bring it up, and with the inner monologue and the being sure of yourself and the talking yourself into it and all that. Definitely Carol.
And her virtue is the most important thing. So his is like so fucking skewed, but hers, like to her virtue, that's what Civil War was all about. Her virtue was the most important thing.
Yeah, she's very headstrong, and that's what Doctor Spectrum is as well. And I guess if we had to guess, I guess Power Woman, is her name Power Girl?
Power Princess.
Power Princess.
Zarda.
Zarda. She was probably going to be like She-Hulk. Yeah, She-Hulk mixed with Wonder Woman, I guess.
And like a little bit of the Thor of it, because she
fights
Thor.
And Thor. So
Allgog is my favorite
Thor.
fucking thing with those stupid giant teeth, looking all kinds
of
really like
cool.
Chris Bacalo, but on like an Alan Davis background. I am like obsessed with Allgog now.
I got so fucking confused. I thought they were like Gog and Magog, and I was like, am I reading a DC comic book right here? And I was like, what the
I just got that. I'm like, wait, oh yeah, they exist. But that's what's interesting. There's none of the DC villains. They're barely even using the Avengers villains. They're using kind of like specific people's villains, right? In that we had the Black Skull. I just think he's the funniest stupid villain ever.
That was funny.
We have Dr. Juggernaut. We have Allgog. We have Thanos with the Infinity Rings. We have...
He's a Mandarin.
Yeah. Wow. I hadn't even thought about it in that way, that he also then becomes Mandarin.
Yep.
Ugh. Okay, well, I'm even more positive on these analogies than I thought.
I think this Heroes Reborn will definitely connect with, like you said, with Jason Aaron. When you read his Avengers run as a trade, you got to connect with it a little bit more. I feel like when you read this basically omnibus worth of information that is Heroes Reborn with all the main series and the tie-ins, it'll flow more, and you'll catch things more because you're reading it all at once. And the way it's structured, I guess when they put it all together, it will probably flow more better too.
And, we're considering that the whole narrative is 18 issues that vary between 28 and 52 fucking pages, we're looking at a 564-page event that is going to collect, I would like to think, pretty seamlessly across these 18 issues in one big, beautiful hardcover. We've covered 8 of the incredible issues contained in this series. I lied. We've covered 7, and we have 11 to go. Next time we come together, we're going to be discussing issue 6 as well as 5 of the one-shots before settling in for another episode covering the bulk of the material leading up to the return. I myself am pretty excited for the return, if for no other reason. I want to know how this event is going to impact things going forward.
Hey guys, if you like that cut from X's4 Podcast, you'll be sure to like some of our other materials. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out these other amazing videos here at X's4 Podcast.